I'm joining you live from New Delhi, and our show today is particularly important if you have grandparents in your life that you are looking out for. If you are a grandparent who's watching the show, how you can better take care of your health when it comes to your insurance. We're going to bring you the lowdown right here on the show with one of the country's top doctors. But first, let's take you to everything we have on the show. Take a look. First, as we said, we're going to be taking a deeper dive into a new initiative from the government. This is a senior safety net that they've created. Obviously, in your golden years, you want a golden coverage, and Ayushman Bharat's PMJ is going to be covering everything seniors need from A to Z. We're going to be decoding the top perks for seniors. We're also going to be talking about where there is still some need for clarity within the policy, and we'll talk about, of course, what it means for each of us. And we're going to be switching tracks. You can already see on your screen from old to very, very young. We're going to be going to the young Abhijita. She is, according to some records, the youngest author in the world. Abhijita Gupta. We'll be taking a little bit of a look at her story, how she decided to take up the pen, at what age. We have her on the show. And we love to bring you what's taking place on the roads. The Hyundai Alcazar 2024, a review. It was launched at 14.99 lakhs, engine, space, features, and the verdict overdrive is going to bring you all of the details. Okay, first up, we're shining a light on what we hope is going to be a game-changing initiative. It's set, hopefully, to revolutionize healthcare for all of our senior citizens. Our Nani, Nana, Dadi, Dada, if you're watching, this is for you. The central government is rolling out a brand new health scheme just for those who are age 70 and above. And it's coming our way within this week. This is the centre's flagship scheme. It's called the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, and it's an exciting new initiative that will offer a whopping 5 lakh rupees of free healthcare insurance. This is over and above what already exists, making sure, hopefully, that elders get the care that they deserve without any hassle. Now, we're going to walk you through everything that's been said about it. So we've taken a look at what the policy says it'll cover, and we're just going to first share that information with you. First up, the government says application will be a breeze. Seniors can apply through an easy online process. There's face authentication. It'll make things quick and simple. There'll hopefully be no waiting around, no bureaucratic red tape. Once the eKYC is done, your card is good to go. And again, hopefully, the cherry on top is being said to be that the scheme is set to benefit around 6 crore senior citizens. It's especially good news for women because they obviously make up 58% of this age group. And with over 50% being widows, it's hoped that this coverage is a significant step towards providing better healthcare. But as we told you earlier, we want to dive into a little bit of what it's actually going to cover. Ladies and gentlemen, get your pen and paper out because we want you to know these details properly. Number one, what is it going to cover? Medical examination, treatments and consultations of all kinds. Essentially, all essential medical consultation will be covered. Pre-hospitalization expenses, so the costs that are incurred up to 3 days before hospitalization, that will also be included. You'll have medicine, medical consumables, all required medicines, medical supplies, all of that is covered. Non-intensive and intensive care services. So both types of care are fully covered. You have diagnostic, laboratory investigations, any kind of necessary tests, diagnostic procedures. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have parents or grandparents who will be needing this, please pay attention. Any kind of medical implantation services, that will be covered entirely. And now these next two, accommodation benefits. So stay is taken care of if you're getting any kind of treatment. Food services, that's often something small but very important. And any kind of complications that are arising during treatment, any issues that arise, all of that is also covered. Post-hospitalization, follow-up care, up to 15 days, all of that is covered. So our senior citizens will hopefully have access to quality medical care, including hospitalization, surgery, diagnostic tests without worrying about the expenses. This will not only improve, hopefully, their health outcomes, we're hopefully looking at just a much, much happier older generation. Okay, we've got with us a guest on the show today. This is a very senior doctor, Dr. D.S. Rana. He's with us. He's the head of nephrology, but he's also the chairman of the Gangaram Trust. He's joining us on the show today. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us here. Doctor, we're actually going to come over to you to just break down for our audiences everything we've just discussed. So what it's going to mean. We also want to ask you a little bit, doctor, about your own experiences. So where you see people hesitate, people of that age group, we want to just clarify a lot of that with you. Okay, doctor, our first question to you about this entire scheme. We've talked, doctor, a little bit right now about everything that the scheme is covering. And on the face of it, it sounds awesome. Doctor, I just want to ask you, what is the scheme going to cover in terms of people? And I just ask you that because if a family has 2 older people, does that 5 lakh rupees get divided? What clarity do we have there?
This is not clear right now whether the same amount will be divided among us more than one senior or not, but
Right.
this requires clarification. Right now, this issue requires little clarification.
Okay. Doctor, can you tell our audiences, so that's a point that it is important to pay attention to. Doctor, just tell our audiences, seniors, when they're coming in for this kind of treatment, this care, we just read out to our audiences what will come with it. It sounds like it's covering a whole lot. What does it not cover? What should our audiences be aware of that it doesn't cover? Because it sounds really like it's checking off every box right now.
I think, it covers very important thing that most of the time what happens that after 70, people get into problem of, say, heart, you require sometimes stents and valves and some orthotics problem like joint replacement, then cancer treatment, very expensive drugs. So if those are covered, then this is they are being covered. Firstly, I would like to say heartiest congratulations to the Prime Minister of country and government for taking this initiative. It is first step after 75 years that at least under health for all, or we are taking care of now. We are starting from a senior citizen, and irrespective of their income and caste, creed, everything, everybody is covered.
Right.
So the only issue which is we are not knowing right now that if there are more than one senior in the family, then whether they will be this amount will be divided or each senior will be getting. I feel that if I just imply from the previous scheme, then even when 5 lakhs coverage was there, that was the total family. So as far as my interpretation goes, I think this amount will be divided among us seniors.
Okay.
And hopefully we don't expect that every senior will become sick.
Doctor, I just want to ask you, in our own research for this story, something we heard when we were talking to the seniors in our own lives was that sometimes, and this they were telling us before we were talking about this scheme has just come in. But they were saying in the past, one of the difficulties they do have is with a lot of the paperwork that is associated with such schemes. It's all very complicated. I want to ask you, doctor, because you administer a hospital, is this something that hospitals look to fix by having attendants who can particularly help the seniors?
I think this is not a very big issue. In the family, there are a lot of young educated people today. Everything is almost online, and every empaneled hospital, they have got help to people. So I think this is not issue at all. People will not face any problem. They should be really very happy that they are getting this advantage. And otherwise, in our country, most of people are not covered by insurance, by private insurance. So they get very difficult to get treatment, especially when their kids are away or they are not very reluctant to get treatment for old people. This is very, very big step, actually. Very, very, I think, significant step and very good initiative. So I don't think there is a problem anyway.
Okay, doctor, just bring us a bit of an overview here because we want to ask you, as someone who sees patients come in, just tell our audiences this demographic, 70 plus, what issues they come in with, just so we can understand what the issues are.
I told you that all non-communicable disease, but even communicable disease will be there, but especially non-communicable disease, let us say, where implants are involved. Like let us say somebody gets into heart problem, requiring stents. So they could not afford this. Now they will be able to afford this treatment. Similarly, very expensive cancer drugs. Similarly, let us say joint problem, joint replacement, implants for joint replacements, So wherever some cost is involved, this will be covered by the scheme. And you were just talking that, let us say, if the scheme gets exhausted in any case,
Yeah.
then in any case, they are eligible for free treatment in government hospital otherwise also. So that problem, they will be, this is a very big help. Obviously, some treatment will be very, very expensive, that may be beyond 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs. So that problem, of course, will be there. But major cost of implants and drugs will be covered within this amount. So that is the most hindrance is implants and expensive drugs. So once they are covered, then rest of the thing they're not necessarily they need to go to some private hospital, independent hospital. They can always go to government hospital. We have got a lot of government hospital and they're in any way consultation, room rents, etc. They're always free actually. So there's not much to worry about. And if wherever it is implied to the people, upper middle class or higher class, they are in any case having their own insurance also. So
Right,
then later,
Doctor, we just wanted to ask you that question next because you can tell us the data, you have access to it. What percentage of the patients that come in, Doctor, actually use government insurance schemes like this? What do you see?
I think this scheme, it is all eligible families, they are utilizing this scheme, and more and more people are inclined to use this scheme in whatever states it is there. Anyway, Ayushman Bharat it will be in almost every state. And I am very sure that every citizen will like to enjoy this scheme now. Even if the people, those who are having, let us say, those who belong to little upper class and having those who can afford, probably they may also enjoy this scheme in the beginning and later on switch on to their private insurance, because that is provided in the law. It is only that people, those who are having their own insurance, there is no dividing of using this scheme. So I think there will be very big utilization of this scheme.
Okay, awesome. And Doctor, one
Yeah,
last...
only thing that
No, go
every
ahead.
hospital is not empaneled for that, and especially bigger private hospital, corporate hospital, they do not adopt this scheme. So those people in any way can afford. Those who go to corporate hospitals,
Yeah.
in any case, they are either they rich, they can afford from their own pocket, or they're having heavy insurances also.
Okay.
Our middle class family, which is says I must say about 80% population, they are those who are not having their own private insurances, and they are almost impossible for them to afford this sort of care without
Right.
selling their property. They will be able to save their homes now. They will be able to save their properties now.
Okay, so the number you gave us, Doctor, you said 80% of especially middle class homes you see, they actually
They
do
don't have
use.
insurance, especially older people, because insurance premium is very high.
Right.
So until as people have got it, maybe after 10 years, 20 years, people will be having, as the things stand today, middle class family, they do not have any insurance for older people. It's become very difficult.
Okay, Doctor, so
Very,
you've
very
had
minuscule is having insurance.
You've had very, very positive words to say about this scheme, and we felt the same way. We thought this was such an excellent initiative. We want to ask you one thing, Doctor. The government does plan some more expansions. And so I just want to ask you, in terms of expansions, what do you think more needs to be added on? The government is already saying that they are going to improve
No, no,
aspects of it.
this they have allowed to everybody in respect. So the government has already allocated money for that. So I don't think they will have problem. They know if, what percentage they have got data actually, and adequate funds have been allocated for that. But
Okay.
the biggest problem for the hospital comes and they do not get reimbursed. So that is so I think teaching problem of even PNJ scheme is they're all over actually, and more and more hospital adopting to adopt them now.
Right. Okay. Dr. Rana, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for taking out the time. We hope you, our audiences, feel like you got a little bit more in terms of perspective on this story. Okay, we're going to take you now very quickly from this to stories that are taking place across India and the world. Let's take a look. First, A new book titled Treasures of the Gupta Empire was launched at the Indira Gandhi National Centre for the Arts. It was authored by Sanjeev Kumar. The book is the result of extensive research. It aims to shed new light on the Gupta Empire. It's a significant period, remember, in Indian history. It spanned from the 4th to the 6th century. The book has garnered attention from historians and scholars worldwide, and it's notable for its meticulous research. It delves into the lives of prominent rulers, as you can imagine, of the Gupta Empire, including the Emperor Samudragupta, Chandragupta and Kumaragupta, of course also Skandagupta. It uncovers previously unknown aspects of their reigns. That's what the entire book, the launch, was about. And we're switching stories to something slightly different. Apple cider vinegar is already known as a versatile ingredient that extends beyond its culinary uses. So beyond the kitchen, its other uses. It also plays roles, obviously, as you know, in beauty products, for example. It's also known for its digestive health and weight management, but it has carved out a considerable niche in hair care. Its national properties improve their health by boosting growth and improving the general conditions of our scalp and hair strands. And Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump is safe, it seems, following gunshots reported outside his golf course in Florida on Sunday, 2 months after the assassination attempt at a rally. This is in Pennsylvania's Boulder. The campaign did not immediately provide additional details. It was not immediately clear whether the reported shots were targeted at the Republican presidential nominee or not. The White House, in a statement, has said that the US President Joe Biden and the US Vice President Kamala Harris were briefed about the security incident. And a much-loved baby pygmy hippo in Thailand has been an online sensation and has become famous after videos of her bonding with her keeper initially went viral. Footage from Saturday showing her and the crowding that's taking place around her exposure as she ate with her mother. One visitor told local public broadcasters that the tiny mammal was cute when her flubber shakes. She's gone viral, as you can see. And the Republican presidential candidate and former US President Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social account on Sunday, "I hate Taylor Swift." This is 5 days after the singer endorsed his opponent, the US Vice President Kamala Harris, in a now viral post where she posed with a cat. Soon after Harris, a Democrat, finished debating her Republican rival, Swift had made this post to her 283 million followers. She'd also said the running mate for Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, both of them would be getting her vote on November 5th. Her post also encouraged first-time voters to be sure to register. Remember, she'd posed with a cat because of statements that Trump's running partner has made about unmarried cat ladies. It was seen as a dig to that. And Swift's post drew more than 9 million likes to her Instagram post. And it's, as we said already, gone viral. Posts and likes from people like Jennifer Aniston, US basketball star Caitlin Clark, and famous singers and musicians. And an overflowing river hit the bottom of a bridge. This is early on Sunday morning after days of heavy rainfall in southwest Poland. In the town of Klotso, the local river hit the iron bridge after it rose to 665 centimeters, well above the alarm level. The river levels are past a record seen in heavy flooding in 1997. You can actually see that in those visuals. One person has drowned. 1,600 people have been evacuated in that entire region as we speak. The Prime Minister on Sunday held a meeting with the crisis management team. Early Sunday morning, SpaceX's Polaris Dawn mission ended with a pre-dawn splashdown. This is near a dry tortugas off the coast of Florida. The mission, led by billionaire Jared Isaacman, concluded after a 5-day journey that marked several significant milestones in private space exploration. The Crew Dragon capsule Resilience safely returned to Earth at 3:37 a.m. as we speak. The Polaris Dawn crew, which included SpaceX engineers Sarah Gillis and Anna Menon, as well as the pilot, Scott Poteet, performed the first ever commercial spacewalk on September 12th. And Boeing workers in Washington, as you can see on your screen, this is in Washington state though, not in the capital. They're joining a larger strike to demand higher pay. 30,000 of Boeing's West Coast factory workers who produce the MAX and other jets began this strike on Friday. This is after rejecting a deal due to continuing demands that their pay needs to rise, that conditions need to be made better for workers. The workers' first strike since 2008 comes as Boeing is under heavy continued scrutiny from US regulators and customs. Remember, this is after a door panel blew off a 737 MAX mid-air in Jan. The strike is creating more uncertainty and concerns for suppliers of parts and components for programs like the 737 MAX. Many were already having difficulty planning production due to Boeing's repeated changes to internal forecasts for suppliers. The aftermath of flooding in Nigeria's northeast is raising alarming humanitarian concerns. Thousands are facing displacement. A sharp increase in prices is threatening food security. Floods swept through Nigeria's Borno state. They've affected up to 1 million people. The flood began. This is when a dam overflowed because of heavy rainfall. Authorities are scrambling to rescue residents and put them in temporary shelters. The UN World Food Programme delivered aid to displaced people. It's been taking place over the last few days. These are visuals that are coming over from the weekend. And we're heading into a quick break. But coming after the break, happiness in every page. We're going to have you meet someone very, very special, the child prodigy. And we make you meet a few child prodigies here on the show. This is Abhijita Gupta. She's a record-breaking author from a very special lineage. You'll meet her after the break.
The movement for women's empowerment in India stands at a critical juncture. They have come a long way, but have miles to go.
एक तरफ है चुनौतियां और दूसरी तरफ हौसला.
To all these stories of success and struggles,
She Shakti emerges as a platform
to hear and narrate these tales of women, for women, by women.
देखिए वैश्विक मंच पर बढ़ता भारत का कद.
In diverse fields, from technology to diplomacy, business to arts,
Women are breaking barriers and shaping the future. She Shakti
breaking barriers. 16 September 2024 on News18 network.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Club. Today, for our person of interest, we've got a very, very special guest who's not just breaking records, but also rewriting the rules of storytelling. We're going to have you meet Abhijita Gupta. She's the youngest author in the world, and she started penning her tales before most of us could even spell the word publish. At just 7 years old, this prodigious writer already earned her accolades from the International Book of Records, that's where she holds that record, and the Asia Book of Records. Her debut book is called Happiness All Around, and it isn't just a collection of poems and stories, it's also just a vibrant splash of youthful imagination. It was created during the pandemic lockdown. Very interestingly, Abhijita is also the granddaughter of some famed names. We're going to tell you what they are. The poet duo Rashtra Kavi Shri Maithili Sharan Gupt and Sant Kavi Shri Siyaram Sharan Gupt. In our person of interest segment today, we explore how she's turning the pages of her own incredible story. We had this conversation with her a few days ago. Take a look. So Abhijita, tell us a little bit about the story of your first book. So how did you decide, I want to write this book? I know that you loved writing and you've loved writing since you were 5. But how did you decide, I want to write a book? And how did you decide, okay, this is what the book is going to look like, the structure, the entire plot? What was the process?
I started writing when I was a little over 5 years old, and then one random day, a question popped up in my head. And then I went up to my parents and said, can you please give me like a diary and a pen? So they said, whatever do you need a diary and a pen for? So I said that it's a secret, I'll tell you when I'm finished. So I went into my room and I started writing a story. It was about 2 elephants eating healthy food and inspiring other kids to also eat healthy. And then after I had written the story, I showed it to my parents and they were very surprised. And then I saw that how nice it felt to write a story, and then from that day onwards I loved writing stories. But still I did not have this specific idea in mind that I was going to publish a book someday. But as the stories and poems kept piling over, I was watching a video one day and then a cartoon like said, okay, hi, I'm publishing a book, and at that age I did not know what publishing meant. So I went to my parents and asked, Papa, Mama, what does publishing mean? So they said that publishing means when the poem or the stories that you are writing comes in pages in form of a book. So I was like, okay, Mama, can you please publish my book? And then they really liked the idea. We started looking for several publishers, but many of them declined due to my age. But then one finally like, okay, we'll do it. And then I was on top of my world. And as for designing the cover page and all, I was a little creative. I had a creative side. I was good at drawing and stuff. So it was purely my imagination that I wanted a girl sitting on the moon and stuff like that.
Tell us about the first book. So what was the idea behind it? And you've just told us how you designed the cover. But you also have to tell us a little bit about how you wrote it. So what was the thought behind it? Tell us a little bit more.
I never write anything that comes to my mind. I like observe everything around me. I write what I hear, see or feel. So continuously I was observing my surroundings, and then whatever came to my mind I was like penning it down in form of a story or a poetry. And then it took the shape of a book.
And now tell us, you went to the publishers, the ones that you did finally publish with, and you said, I want to publish this book. You told us about what it takes to design a cover, but what about all the other pieces, putting that together?
It depends on the person.
See, none of us have published a book, so you have to tell us.
All you have to do is observe your surroundings and express yourself just in the form of words on a paper. That's all about writing books. I did not really feel that, okay, writing is very hard or something like that. It's just that something that you're passionate about, it comes to you naturally. So I was like, I did not do anything. Sometimes there were days when I did not write. Sometimes there were days when I wrote well into the night. And then like at midnight I sat up, Mama, Papa, give me a paper, I have a thought.
Love it. Okay, so I want to ask you, I read that actually you come from a family of different writers. And right from, I think, 3 generations of writers, right?
Yeah.
So, kahin na kahin, will you say that there was writing in your family a little bit? It was something that not only your grandfather, your grandmother, but it's a tradition of sorts almost?
Not a tradition, I would say, but yeah, writing runs in my blood, and I'm honored to carry out this prestigious legacy of ours, like having so many famous authors. So the best I can do to carry out this prestigious legacy of ours is to, you know, serve the people through through books or any other means of job that I want to do in the future.
So I want to ask you, right now, what are the genres that you've written about? Are you planning to expand and explore into other genres? Before we started this interview, you told me that you're a big fan of Harry Potter, for example. Are you looking to venture into the world of magic, all of that, wizardry? Tell us a little there.
So until now, I have only written about fiction and non-fiction. But yeah, I do want to expand my genres, and I want to go into wizardry, magic and mysteries, but they're not like specific thoughts coming to me right now. So, but yeah, I'm reading different books for motivation and for thoughts. But I do want to like write some books like Harry Potter, because that was so interesting that I couldn't take
your eyes off the book.
Yeah, for not even a second. I finished like one book in one day. So
okay, that is a much faster reading rate than I think any of us can do. But that also means that you read very quickly, because we haven't talked about that yet. You do love reading, and I assume from the love of reading is where maybe the love of writing came from?
Yeah,
Is that correct to say?
Yeah, that is correct to say, because I love reading at a very tender age. I read books. Now I'm reading like Ruskin Bond, Harry Potter and stuff like that. But yeah, I liked reading a lot. So like thoughts started piling up to me from the like books. So then yeah, I liked reading, writing, reading. Then I understood, oh, so these authors write these books for me to read. And then I like them so much. So why not write one myself? Then I started writing.
But I have to ask you, because you said you write sometimes at midnight also. And you know, sometimes when we sometimes in the show we interview other young people who are doing a lot. And kabhi-kabhi when we're talking to them, it feels like genius se baat kar rahe hain. You know, jo sab kuch janta hai. And so I want to ask you, Pure din do you write? Is that what happens? Because you go to school too, right? You're doing 5 other things at the same time. So when do you take out the time to write? Is writing the one thing you love doing? What else do you do? Tell me.
Like, it's all about balancing your school, your education, and then your passion, hobbies. It's not that I write all the time, and it's not that I study all the time. I have a special allotted time for everything. I also watch TV. I also sometimes watch mobile. Like, and
you take
but I don't have to take out time for writing, because something that you're passionate about, you don't have to take time out for anything at all.
It comes naturally.
Yeah, like even if I'm middle of studying and a thought occurs to me, and I knew that at first I have to focus on my studies, I write it on a pen and I write it on a paper, and then after completed my studies, I just sit and then frame that thought into a book or a poetry or whatever.
Properly. And only then do you go ahead.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask you, because you've had many of your books, I want to tell our audiences, because they may not know, that your books are also in circulation already. People can go out, they can find a copy. So I just want to ask you, what have people said to you about the books that you've written? Have you gotten feedback from family, from friends? What do they have to say? Is there something you want to work on within the way that you write?
Well, both. People said both. They said negative things and then they said positive things. Well, some people say that, oh, she's so young, she will not be able to write books or anything like that. And I'm sure that her parents are writing or something like that. Well, some people actually appreciated me and congratulated me on how well I'm doing. But yeah, of course, I knew that every journey came with its own hurdles, and this journey was no such exception. So together with the help of my family and friends, I overcame this hurdle to prove to the audience that, okay, I'm writing this book on my own. Nobody is helping me.
But what's your challenge? That's what I'm asking now. With the next book that you're writing right now, what's the thing you're trying to do differently?
I want to make my book a little more interesting, and I want to make it like a horror, comedy, at the same time mystery and magic, all that stuff, like all the genres combined into one book, because that will make a great book. But currently I'm a little I'm juggling between genres to see which one I could write the best. Like every author gets a little stuck at times, and I'm having my difficult time as well, because I wrote many things. But
and just tell us one last thing. When you do get stuck, what do you do?
I just rattle my brains and there you go, you have a thing. But like when I do get stuck and like there seems to be a no way out, I take a break, do something refreshing, and then with a refreshed mind, I come back, sit and calmly think about, okay, what I'm going to write, and I review everything that I have written until now. And then after doing that, I have a whole new like perspective to see from.
I must tell you, Abhijita, it is wild to speak to someone who's so calm, who's figured everything out, it seems like. I really hope your next book is also a success, because I was reading there's so much that's been written about all your work so far. So congratulations on your journey so far and good luck.
Thank you.
And now we're shifting focus to the world of auto. Let me begin by asking you, are we ready to upgrade our SUV game? Well, Hyundai's got a brand new toy that they want to show off. It's the 2024 Alcazar. It is bigger, it is bolder, and it is packed with goodies. But is it just a pretty face? Is there a beast on wheels that's happening behind the scenes? Overdrive took this baby on a spin, as they do, and they're dishing out all of the details. From the conversation around its design, the sleekness, the juicy features inside, Overdrive, as usual, brings you their verdict. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Kranti Sampha, you watching Overdrive, and this is the latest Hyundai Alcazar 2024. This is the updated version, lots of new elements, cosmetic, mechanical and feature-wise. So first thing first, the kind of changes we are seeing on the face of this Alcazar, and this face looks distinct. I mean, you must have seen many Hyundai cars with this DRL treatment, which is basically edge shape, edge for obviously Hyundai. This also has a connected DRL treatment going on, and this is that part or this aspect of Alcazar which sets it apart from the Creta, because this feels bigger, bolder, and it goes in line with most of the many international products which Hyundai has. This has horizontal lines with kind of piano black finish. This is indoor light, so I'm not too sure what kind of finish this is, but this seems like piano black finish. You have this tip plate treatment with metallic finish. So overall, this gives a very bold and bigger face to it. And then you have this dual headlamp treatment. So as far as the looks are concerned, I think you will find this Alcazar very distinct from the existing Creta. What hasn't changed is the engine options you get with this new Alcazar. Both petrol and diesel options are similar. The figures are similar, 1.5 liter petrol and diesel. Diesel engine produces around 116 PS, and the torque figure is around 250 Newton meters, whereas the petrol one, it produces around 160 PS and 253 Newton meters of torque. The petrol engine option comes with manual transmission plus 7-speed DCT, and the diesel one is 6-speed manual transmission and 6-speed automatic transmission. Now on the inside, this feels a familiar space, familiar setup, gives a very Creta-ish feel, but yeah, the color pattern or the treatment, you can see this dark blue, which we have seen in some other car as well, that this with the dark tan gives a very premium kind of feel to it. So I like the way the color combination has been introduced in this car. You have 10.23-inch screens. So one is entertainment, one is instrumentation. Overall feels sharp, vibrant. Now looking at the controls, you have climate control physical buttons, which is a good thing. Lots of controls where you can just touch and feel and press the button, use those buttons. So physical buttons, they're always a better thing for me or for any driver, I would say. So below this, you have a Type-C charging port, Type-A charging port, and a 12-volt slot as well. You have a wireless charging pad here. Then you have drive and traction mode. Traction mode, you have snow, mud, and sand. And in drive mode, you have eco, sport, and north. So overall, 6 different driving setups. You have electronic parking brake with auto hold. Then the camera output I showed you, 360-degree camera, which can be controlled from or operated from here. Then you have ventilated seats at front. 2 cup holders, armrest with the can slide, and some space to keep your phone or stuff like that. And then you have powered seat with memory functions, which basically set the Creta apart when the new one was launched. Was this huge sunroof, so Alcazar gets that as well. One more thing which I really like is the kind of treatment, the kind of stitching we are seeing on the seats of this car. Overall feels very premium, very new and refreshed. Let's take a look at the second row of new Alcazar. So this is the second row of the latest Alcazar, and this is the kind of space you can see for 6 feet 3. I've adjusted the seat according to my driving position, so thigh support could be a bit better, but knee support for average Indian height is kind of okay. So this is the 7-seater version. You have some space to keep your phone, 2 Type-C charging ports, and but you get this button for boss mode or chauffeur mode, whatever you want to call it. So it's easier for the passenger sitting in the second row to adjust the front seat. So that is something which is nice. It's cushiony, it feels solid, and you can also slide it. So this is almost like 60-40 split as well. And we'll just see how comfortable, how easy is it to get in the third row. But I forget, you get a sunblind as well. Now the third row story of Hyundai Alcazar 2024. Okay, so not so great for tall passengers. Maybe for kids below average Indian height passengers, these 2 seats okay for a short distance. So you have blow control and Type-C charging port. You have a cup holder and place stool. Okay, kind of space, not that great, but this is the story of Hyundai Alcazar 2024 7-seater version. Let's take a look at the luggage space which you get in case you have. This is the kind of space you get when all 7 seats are up. Not so great, but yeah, still usable. This is how this latest Alcazar looks from behind, which gives a very overall treatment, gives a very distinct kind of look. You can recognize this car from distance if you're following this. And one of the cooler elements, I would say, is this aluminium kind of or brushed metallic panel which they have infused. You have connected tail lamps, and then you have dull metallic finish to the bumper. So overall, this feels new. This feels distinct, and this will come in 4 different variants. One of those variants would be this signature turbo badging over there. So this is how this latest Hyundai Alcazar looks like. The kind of changes you saw, the kind of changes which you expected but didn't happen, or the kind of features which you saw in this car. Did you like those, or you want some more improvements?
Next, we bring you a special section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's take a look first at markets. GIFT Nifty is indicating a flat opening for Indian equity indices. US markets closed on a flat note on Friday. This is ahead of a rate cut by the Fed, likely this week. Asian markets, as we speak, are trading marginally lower. This is as investors await a Fed meeting. Oil and gold prices are trading marginally higher in anticipation of a rate cut. If we take a look specifically at sectors, NBFC in particular, let's focus on that. NBFCs have mushroomed in number. They're making it important for investors to understand the business model behind them. The ones with direct retail reach have better profitability as collection efficiency also increases. The segment they lend to is also important given the stress developing in the unsecured pockets of the market. Is it time for investors to tread with caution? That obviously is the big question, and you can log into Money Control Pro to find out more about this. NBFCs, remember that's non-bank finance companies, and of course various other actionable insights on the market. Money Control Pro is the premier destination for all investing views and financial insights that you're ever going to need. It's of course brought to you by Money Control. And with that, we are drawing our show to a close. We hope that you found today's entire show, especially the first portion where we discuss the nitty-gritties of a new government insurance plan that will cover everyone around us who is 70 plus. We hope you found that helpful. Let us know what your questions are. We're always open for your feedback and to understand what you want to see us cover right here on The Breakfast Club. That's it from us. Have a beautiful, beautiful week ahead.
America calling for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first America visit in Modi 3.0. Mega investment push on cars. Diaspora Connect is the highlight. Special coverage on CNN News 18.
The movement for women's empowerment in India stands at a critical juncture. They have come a long way, but have miles to go.
एक तरफ है चुनौतियां और दूसरी तरफ हौसला.
To all these stories of success and struggles,
She Shakti emerges
as a platform to hear and narrate these tales of women, for women, by women.
देखिए वैश्विक मंच पर बढ़ता भारत का कद.
In diverse fields, from technology to diplomacy, business to arts,
Women are breaking barriers and shaping the future.
She Shakti breaking barriers. 16 September 2024 on News 18 Network.